Disney, and by proxy Marvel, has been taking L after L after L lately. If it's not flop movies, to less than stunning movies, to like Shang-Chi action figures that were originally $12 being sold on clearance for $2 and still not selling, it's not looking good for Marvel. But this writer, this comic book resources writer, he thinks he's cracked the code. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and let's see if this individual on comic book resources is right, that it's just about the television length of the Disney Plus streaming shows. That's where the problem is. The MCU made one crucial mistake with this TV series. The MCU's descent into the world has That's how you know it's going to be a good article. Let's try that again. The MCU's descent into the world has because they don't even care enough to proofread at this point. Was this written by AI? I mean, I know it says it was written by Jamie Parker, but GLaDOS had a name, so why can't the AI writers here? I'm telling you, nobody cares. Even the writer doesn't care. Comic Book Resources probably told this poor man, write something about Marvel, anything that can get people excited again, be apologetic, make excuses for them, do anything just so people would click this and be like, yeah, I got it, and I don't know, wrote it with his toes or something. The MCU's descent into the world of TV has been met with less than stellar success. The MCU has made one big error that continues to harm its shows. Oh, Jamie, it has made far more than one error, but do pray tell, what is it? You're so much smarter than the rest of us that were the paying customers. Let's see what it is. For the length of the Infinity Sage. Dude, we're in the first paragraph, and you can't, second typo? Oh my god, for the length of the Infinity Sage instead of Infinity Saga. Oh my god, I truly, Jamie, tell me you're not AI, buddy. Like, let's take a look here. Oh, well, I mean, there's no easy way. 584 articles since 2020? Man, Jamie, I don't think that your learning algorithm has helped you at all if you're a robot. You're like one of those defective robots you see in Futurama or something. Alright, anyway, for the length of the Infinity Saga, Jamie, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ruled the box office. The franchise was an unstoppable force that continued to produce record-breaking films. After Avengers Endgame, the franchise decided to make the jump into TV. It's so amazing to me that people just seem to always forget that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. existed, as well as the Netflix Marvel stuff technically being part of the MCU. But yeah, that's when I decided to make the jump to TV. You don't know, even when you're not making typos, you know nothing about what you're writing about. With new shows on Disney Plus, from WandaVision to Secret Invasion, each MCU series has been met with varying levels of success. And for what he means by that, with WandaVision being, tolerable at best, to everything else being a steaming pile of dog shit. Yeah, you really only have those two categories, and it is that uneven. For many of the shows, though, Marvel has continued to make the same mistake. By limiting many of the series' episode count to only 6 episodes, the shows are unable to live up to the fan expectations and tell truly compelling stories. Really? That's how you want to spin this? Only 6 episodes isn't enough to tell truly compelling stories? Homeboy, I got something to tell you. There was this show, this really good show, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. What was it called again? He played that incredible detective Sherlock. Right. Sherlock, only 3 episodes per season. Now, granted, it's a miniseries, they're about an hour and a half each, but 3 episodes per season, and it tells a very, very convincing story in those 3 episodes. You tell me the MCU can't do it in 6? Bro, it's all about quality, not quantity. You could tell a good, cohesive story in 1 episode. TV shows like Futurama do it all the time. You ever watch Jurassic Park? That episode just pulls at the heartstrings, and it does it in like 22 minutes when you take out commercials. Don't pretend that only having 6 episodes is what makes it unable to live up to the hype, especially when other shows in the MCU did have more than 6. I believe, She-Hulk was 9, I think. WandaVision, I'm pretty sure, was 9. So, what, you're just going to go ahead and discount those? It's not about the length. It's about the fact that these writers, the ones that are, on strike right now because they're not paid enough to do a terrible job, are terrible at their job. WandaVision was the biggest success of all the MCU TV series, and that tells you everything you need to know right there. The incredibly awful, but I guess still somewhat tolerable by comparison, MCU show WandaVision, the first one they put out, might I add, has been the biggest success. And it still isn't that much of a success. I mean, it certainly isn't doing Disney Plus any favors considering it's lost how many millions of dollars at this point? Yeah, it sure drove a whole lot of sales when Disney Plus sure joined up. But yeah, no one else is watching it anymore. Everyone's done. Does anyone who didn't have Disney Plus when that show came out, have they gone back and watched WandaVision? Does anyone care? But yeah, everyone's just breaking their backs waiting for the Agatha Harkness follow-up spinoff TV show, a spinoff of a spinoff. That no one cares about WandaVision being the biggest success. And like I said, that one had, I believe, 8 or 9 episodes, and it still devolved into a poorly written mess near the end, despite actually having a captivating first 4 or so episodes. Followed closely by Loki. No, it's not even closely followed by Loki, but say what you want to believe, buddy. Both of these series were on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as series length. WandaVision was, 9 episodes long and told an in-depth story about loss and grief. Oh yeah, it told the in-depth story of one of the beloved heroes of the MCU holding an entire town mentally hostage, putting them in perpetual torture, and then when she finally decides to do the good thing and, let them not be constantly tortured, she's then congratulated and told what a hero she was. Yeah, what an in-depth story. This was then continued in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which was one of the worst movies in the MCU and is a stain on Sam Raimi's career. Loki told a very condensed story that looked at the evolution of Loki and set up Kang as the future MCU villain. WandaVision found success because the series was give a lot. Dude! Learn to write. If you're going to be a writer, if you're going to get paid, God knows how much for writing, I'm sure more than your boy gets paid here, can you at least pretend to care? WandaVision found success because the series was give a lot of space to grow its story and characters. 9-year-olds can do a better job with sentence structure. This is the 3rd time in one article. Are you downs? Loki is one of the few shows to successfully. Oh my god, I think this truly was written by an AI, guys. I know I was joking about it before, but I think this was actually written by an AI. Loki is one of the few shows to successfully use the 6-episode format. By the way, no, it wasn't. Even if you'd used the correct word, successfully, it still was not one of the few shows to be successful in the 6-episode format. And you say it's because Loki had so much time in other MCU films. That didn't help Sam Jackson in Secret Wars or Secret Invasion, now did it? Or it certainly didn't help, Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier in their awful show, or any of these other characters that have returned from the silver screen onto the TV. The episode count didn't do jack for them just because they were already established in the movies. So don't pretend Loki was any better. For many Marvel shows, the 6-episode format has been an utter failure. Well, hey, look at that. For many other Marvel shows, the 6-episode format has been an utter failure. That's a legitimate, good, complete sentence. I'm proud of you, boy. The MCU doesn't allow enough times for shows to develop. If Jamie was not an AI, bro, he was drunk off his ass writing this. It was like, CBR reached out to him and was like, hey, we need you to write something positive, something to get people jazzed for the MCU. Go ahead and talk about its flaws, but, make it positive, draw them in at the end, show that there's hope. And Jamie was like, oh, bro. Okay. And just grabs a 5th and just starts chugging before he sits down at his Apple in the middle of his Starbucks, because of course he does all of his writing at his Starbucks. That's what I'm imagining this Jamie guy does. Yeah, or maybe we see him right here smoking. Maybe he just had to take, just the biggest bong hit, or maybe just roll the thickest and fattiest of joints before he dared write something about Marvel. I mean, it's showing. There's no excuse for this. I know that CBR is not real journalism, but it's proper spelling and sentence structure too much to ask for? Oh my god, I can't wait until these gaming journalists and nerd journalist outlets, when they go on strike, just like the Hollywood writers, because that will be a strike that will truly never end, and they'll just have to go work in the coal mines or whatnot. And just so you know, Jamie, coal is spelled C-O-A-L. Moon Knight and Secret Invasion are the perfect examples of how the MCU has failed its TV shows and its characters. Fans were extremely excited for the introduction of Moon Knight to the MCU. Were they though? Were they really? There's gotta be a handful of individuals out there besides myself who know who Moon Knight is. Moon Knight wasn't exactly even C tier on the levels of popularity when it comes to comic book characters. Ain't no one was excited for Moon Knight. People may have still been somewhat excited for more MCU content because they hadn't truly figured out how terrible it would be yet, but no one was just clamoring and chomping at the bit for Moon Knight. Yet the show didn't quite live up to the hype. That's putting it mildly. Moon Knight is known for intense action and complicated story focused on mental health. Moon Knight debuted in 1976. You can't tell me that something coming out in 1976 was all about mental health. That might be what the new modern comic books are about since Disney took over. Oh yeah, let's make sure all the new Moon Knight stuff that's not selling whatsoever is totally about mental health and the struggle. But let me tell you what, those aren't selling. You can't try and sit here and pretend the comic books that came out in 76 before there was such even really a thing as mental health, focused on mental health. It's a complicated story focusing on mental health. That's you just trying to put in your own sort of spin, showing you know nothing about the source material. You're just some sort of shill paid to write an article, and this time even more poorly than on average, might I add. While the series did deliver on some action, the story and character development left much to be desired. The short series didn't have nearly enough time to explore Mark Spector's complicated relationship with his alter personalities, yeah, okay, now that one's correct, never mind. The series ultimately left a lot on the table, and fans are unsure when they will get to see Moon Knight again. Secret Invasion is one of the shortest MCU series yet, with extremely short episode times to go along with only having 6 episodes, right? Hold on, let's reread that again. There's no way you're gonna be screwing up again. Secret Invasion is one of the shortest MCU stories yet, with extremely short episode times to go along with only have 6. With only having 6 episodes. CBR. This is my plea from me to you. Hire your boy Leon. Reach out to me. Put it in the comments and whatnot. Find me on Twitter. Words of Paradise. Bolt the word. Find me on Twitter. I will write articles that will make you money, and they will have proper English. While Loki made the 6-episode format work due to the character's history in the MCU, Secret Invasion failed to use the Skrulls or Nick Fury's history well. At least they're outright saying it. At least they're done simping and shilling for Papa Disney, the House of Mauschwitz. At least now they're straight up saying this was not Nick Fury. The story of Secret Invasion was a sham of what the comic event was. Don't try and make me believe you read the comics at this point, Jamie. I don't even know if you can read considering how you write. And the series seemed to survive more on mediocre reveals of who had been Skrulls. There was very little character development or even development for the overall MCU. Even the introduction of the Super Skrull failed to elicit much excitement from fans. It's because there is no Super Skrull without the Fantastic Four. The MCU has prioritized quantity over quality. Jamie, looking at the fact that you've written 584 articles and now your ability to write, I don't think you should be one to talk about quantity over quality. That being said, it's got a picture of She-Hulk here. Let's see what they say about that. In the MCU's rush to capitalize on the battle for streaming dominance, it seems as if the franchise has valued quantity over quality, which, to be fair, I can't agree with that. Since 2021, there have been 9 different Marvel shows, and most of them have been met with lukewarm reception. She-Hulk was given a full 9 episodes. Okay, yeah, I said that in the beginning, so it was 9 episodes, and it was still garbage. Didn't you make this whole article talking about how the length of time is the problem with the Marvel shows? I mean, I'm pretty sure that was literally in your first paragraph here. Yeah, limiting many of the series' episode count to only 6 episodes the shows are unable to live up to, and now you're out here also saying, like, yeah, 9 episodes She-Hulk. She-Hulk was given the full 9-episode series, and much of the series failed to properly develop Jen Walters as a character. You're self-defeating your own argument. If your argument earlier was they didn't have enough time, if there's not enough episodes, and now you got a TV show with 3 episodes more than the average, and it still sucked, maybe the rest of us who've been screaming on the internet for the last God knows how many years were correct. It's a writing problem. It's Disney putting in their propaganda. It's Disney trying to shill out for all the women, despite this being something that, let's be honest, mostly males are into. It's about the feminism and the Marxism and the communism and everything else propagandized and being shoved and injected into this space, into this culture that doesn't need to be there when you could just say, here's a comic, let's turn it real life. And that would sell, because that's what the MCU did for years, and it worked. With so many shows, even the excellent ones like Miss Marvel got overlooked. Oh, buddy. Oh, Jamie. Now I know you're a real person. You're calling Miss Marvel. Even an AI wouldn't dare call Miss Marvel excellent. You're probably a real person, and you're probably like swiping on Tinder, getting fail after fail just as I'm reading this, because nobody wants to be with a soy boy like yourself that got, excited watching Miss Marvel. And with much lower view count than any other mediocre series, even Falcon and the Winter Soldier struggled to find its own identity beyond a Captain America Winter Soldier repeat with its short episode count. If the MCU lowered the amount of series it was producing, then the quality of the series may increase. I'm here to tell you, buddy, No, it won't. It will not at all. Until Disney learns their lesson and decides we need to stop propagandizing everything, then no, nothing's going to change. We would see, changes with Star Wars as well, but that's never going to change. You want to pretend that the quality issue is because of the episode count, or that, oh, there's just too many shows. You know what? There was always a lot of Avengers movies coming out. But for the most part, they almost always worked. The MCU was doing great until it got political, and that's the problem. But you don't want to admit it because you probably largely also have adopted those incredibly narrow communistic Marxist, or maybe even just, it's just socialist viewpoints that have, been keeping in your mind, keeping food in your belly, despite you living off a capitalist system where you're for some reason able to get a job as a writer, an artistic endeavor, despite your complete and utter lack of skill, as pointed out in this video. Bro, you owe so much to capitalism right now. I think you should be kissing its feet instead of trying to claim that the politics, the communist and Marxist politics in the MCU are not what is killing it. Phase 4 and 5 may have been of a mixed bag for the MCU, and the TV series have a lot to do with that. Many of the TV series aren't given the screen time they need to properly tell the story or develop the characters. It has nothing to do with screen time. It is all about the writing. A good writer could have done any of those shows with any of those story counts, those episode counts, and it would have worked. People are normal. Those of us that don't live in California or New York are completely normal, and we know what we want in our television and in our consumption of nerd culture, and it ain't communist politics. There are so many shows being developed that it can be difficult for fans to dedicate their time to a series that will have little other connections with the MCU or even add anything odd significance. I don't even, how many is that at this point? I don't even know how many that was, but what a great way to end this article. This article sets out to claim it knows what's wrong with the MCU TV shows. It knows how to fix it. And then all it ever proves is that people working for CBR cannot write to save their lives. This was an atrocious read. I mean, not only because of the constant typos, which I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did, but also because it's just so objectively wrong. Like, this guy is a writer for a living, but has not come to the obvious conclusion that good writing could fix these bad shows. I know good writing must be, a foreign concept to Jamie here, considering he's probably never seen good writing once in his life, looking at what he did in this article. But it's still so baffling to me that after all that, he comes to the conclusion of quantity over quality. No, that too, but you could have quantity and quality. They're not mutually exclusive. But my god, is it always fun anytime we can roast the MCU and CBR unexpectedly at the same time. What a bonus, right? But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter where you can find me at BoltTheWord. I guess X now, I should say. Let me know on X where you can find me at BoltTheWord. And I am a nerdy news channel. I do 2 videos a day now, one dropping at 11 a.m. and another dropping at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, so definitely check out all those for the best in nerdy news. And until then, it's all here in the Nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.